Okay, welcome. It's time to get started. I hope you're as excited as I am. So let's start talking about programming languages very briefly. So when we program, we're giving the computer a bunch of instructions. And the programming language we're using has different special words that mean different things. Luckily, most languages have somewhat similar words and ways of writing. So they're often more like dialects than totally different languages, which is good if you want to learn multiple languages. So in Python is one of the more simple languages to learn. So that's great, right? So let's get started. So when we write our Python code, we will often want to see if it's working, if we're getting the numbers that we're expecting, and so on. And the way we often do that is to output data down into the console down here. Now, there isn't any data down in there right now, but there will be soon. And to do that, we use the print command, which looks like this. And then inside the print command, we put some quotation marks, either single or double, and then we type whatever string we want to output. So in this case, we'll say, "Welcome to Python 101. That means you. Okay, and if we run this, we'll see that it outputs the text without the quotation marks and without the print around it. So the print statement is a way to tell the computer, please print the stuff that I put inside the quotation marks. Okay? And when Python reads our code, let's copy this. It does it in the same way that you read, at least if you read Western languages. So it reads top to bottom and left to right. So if we add a 2 here and run it, you'll see that we have 2 rows. We have welcome to Python 101, and then the second row is the second row that I typed. Now, if I move these so that I put this row above the first one, you'll see that it turns around. And that's important to remember, because when you're writing code, you want to make sure that you're writing in the same direction that you're reading, and also that the computer is reading, because otherwise you might be trying to use something that doesn't exist yet. So for instance, if we create a hammer, create hammer, copy it, and then afterwards we use the hammer, that will look quite good. So first we create the hammer, and then we use the hammer. Now it would get really weird if we tried to do this. First we use the hammer, and then we create the hammer. Use hammer, create hammer. That's kind of impossible, right? Because you can't use the hammer until you've created it. So let's get rid of that. And then when you're executing, you can either press this green button over here to run your code, or you can use the Control S shortcut, or on a Mac, the Command S shortcut. Now, as your very first assignment, I want you to write a print statement that creates some nails in the right place, and then modify the use statement that we have here so that we also use the nails with the hammer. So give that a shot, and I'll be back with a solution shortly. Great, so did you try that? I hope you did, and that goes for all the exercises in this course. When there's an exercise, try to do the exercise. Don't just wait for me to come up with the solution, because you're going to learn so much more, and it's going to stick for so much longer, and it'll be so much more fun. So here's a way to do this. So let's copy this. And always in programming, there are many ways to solve the same problem. The way that I show is just going to be one of many ways of solving a problem. And that's something to keep in mind. So just because I write it doesn't mean that it's right. If you solve the problem in a different way, kudos to you. You've solved the problem. All right, so let's create some nails. And then let's use hammer and nails. Let's run that. And there we go. We created nails, create hammer, and then we use hammer and nails. Awesome. I'll see you in the next tutorial.